Most people hear compound interest and think it's just about time and patience. Start early, wait long enough, and somehow money multiplies. That explanation sounds nice, but it's incomplete. It's like telling someone that buildings stand because of gravity, without ever mentioning steel beams, load distribution, or structural stress. Compound interest is not only magical and passive luck, it's also a system. And like every powerful system, it follows engineering principles. If you don't understand those principles, you don't just grow slower, you build something unstable that can collapse the moment pressure is applied. The engineering approach to compound interest treats money the same way engineers treat bridges, machines, or power systems. Every result comes from inputs, constraints, feedback loops, failure points, and optimization. Engineers don't hope things work, they design for outcomes. And when you apply that mindset to compound interest, you start seeing why most people never experience it in a meaningful way, even if they technically invest. The first thing engineers understand is that no system compounds evenly. Growth is never smooth. It happens in phases, bursts, stalls, and stress points. Compound interest works the same way. Early on, it feels useless. Progress looks flat. Effort seems wasted. This is not a flaw. It's a design feature of exponential systems. Engineers call this the ramp-up phase, where inputs are building capacity rather than producing visible output. Most people quit here because they evaluate progress emotionally instead of structurally. In engineering, you never judge a system by early output alone. You judge it by whether the structure is sound. With compound interest, the structure is your consistency, contribution rate, and reinvestment discipline. If those are weak, no amount of time will save you. A poorly designed system collapses under its own weight long before compounding has a chance to show up. Another principle engineers live by is leverage. Engineers don't rely on raw force. They design systems that multiply effort. A crane lifts tons not because the motor is strong, but because leverage, pulleys, and counterweights are optimized. Compound interest works the same way. The interest rate is not the engine, the reinvestment is. Without reinvestment, you are applying force directly instead of letting leverage do the work. Most people misunderstand this. They focus obsessively on returns while ignoring reinvestment behavior. They chase higher rates, riskier assets, or better opportunities, but leak leverage by pulling money out, stopping contributions, or interrupting the cycle. That's like revving an engine while disengaging the transmission. The power exists, but it never reaches the wheels. Engineers also design for efficiency before scale. You don't scale a broken system, you optimize it first. In compound interest, efficiency is about minimizing friction. Friction shows up as fees, taxes, emotional decisions, lifestyle inflation, and inconsistency. Every bit of friction reduces compounding the same way heat loss reduces mechanical efficiency. A system that looks fine on paper can underperform massively in reality because friction was ignored. This is why two people with the same income and same investments can end up in completely different financial positions. One optimized the system, the other ignored friction. One treated money emotionally, the other treated it mechanically. Compound interest rewards the engineer, not the dreamer. Another engineering concept most people miss is feedback loops. Positive feedback accelerates growth, while negative feedback slows or destroys it. In money systems, reinvested returns create positive feedback. Withdrawals, panic selling, and lifestyle upgrades tied to temporary gains create negative feedback. Engineers design systems to amplify positive feedback and dampen negative feedback. Most people do the opposite without realizing it. When someone gets a raise and immediately upgrades their lifestyle, they introduce a negative feedback loop. More income leads to more expenses, which leads to zero additional capital. The system stabilizes at mediocrity. Compound interest never gets traction because the output is constantly consumed. Engineers would call this a closed loop with no accumulation. Growth requires surplus, and surplus must be intentionally protected. Stress testing is another engineering discipline people ignore with money. Engineers assume failure will happen and design systems that survive it. They ask, what happens under maximum stress? In compound interest, stress comes from market crashes, income loss, emergencies, and boredom. If your system only works in perfect conditions, it's not a real system, it's a fantasy. This is why over-leveraged investors get wiped out. They optimized for maximum growth instead of survivability. Engineers prioritize robustness before performance. A slightly slower system that survives beats a faster system that fails once. Compound interest only works if you stay in the game. Time is not just a multiplier, it's a requirement. Another overlooked engineering principle is redundancy. Engineers build backups because they know components fail. In financial systems, redundancy means multiple income streams, emergency funds, diversified assets, and flexibility. People who rely on a single income source or a single asset are running a single point of failure system. One shock and compounding stops entirely. Redundancy also protects psychology. When people have no buffer, every downturn feels fatal. Fear forces bad decisions, which introduces massive negative feedback. Engineers know that human operators make better decisions when systems are stable. Financial stability improves behavior, and behavior protects compounding. Then there's the idea of throughput. Engineers measure how much input a system can handle without breaking. In compound interest, throughput is how much money you can invest consistently without destabilizing your life. Many people try to invest aggressively without increasing system capacity. They cut essentials, ignore emergencies, and create pressure. Eventually, the system snaps and everything is liquidated. A better approach is capacity expansion. Engineers increase capacity before increasing load. Financially, this means increasing skills, income, and margins before raising investment intensity. When income grows, contributions feel lighter. The system stays stable, and compounding continues uninterrupted. Engineers also understand diminishing returns. At some point, adding more input produces less output. In investing, chasing marginally higher returns often adds disproportionate risk. People think compounding is about maximizing returns, but engineering teaches that optimizing for stability and consistency often produces better long-term results. The smoothest curve beats the most aggressive one that breaks. Time delay is another critical concept. In engineering systems, actions often have delayed effects. You don't see results immediately, but they show up later, sometimes amplified. Compound interest operates entirely on time delay. Contributions today matter far more in the future than they appear now. People fail because they expect immediate confirmation. Engineers don't need constant feedback. They trust the model if the inputs are correct. This is why boredom kills compounding. When nothing seems to be happening, people interfere. They switch strategies, stop contributions, or chase excitement. Interference is system noise. Engineers minimize noise because it disrupts output. The most powerful compounding systems are boring, repetitive, and emotionally dull. Another engineering idea is path dependency. Small decisions early drastically affect outcomes later. A tiny misalignment at the start becomes massive over time. Missing contributions, delaying starts, or withdrawing early creates permanent structural damage. People underestimate early decisions because the immediate impact looks small. Engineers know better. Early-stage errors compound too, just in the wrong direction. Compound interest is also nonlinear. Doubling inputs doesn't double outputs. It changes the curve entirely. This is why late-stage compounding looks unbelievable. People think it's luck, but it's just the math catching up. Engineers expect this behavior. Nonlinear systems look broken until suddenly they don't. Another missed principle is control systems. Engineers design systems with rules that operate automatically. In finance, automation is control. Automatic investing, automatic reinvestment, and predefined rules remove human error. The more decisions you automate, the less likely you are to sabotage compounding emotionally. Most people rely on willpower. Engineers never do. Willpower is unreliable. Systems are reliable. If compounding depends on how you feel, it will fail. If it depends on a process, it survives. Engineers also understand opportunity cost as energy allocation. Resources used in one area cannot be used elsewhere. Spending isn't just losing money, it's redirecting future compounding potential. Every unnecessary expense is not just a cost today, it's a permanent reduction in system output. This is why small leaks matter. Over decades, they destroy exponential growth. One of the most important engineering insights is that systems either compound or decay. There is no neutral state. If you are not reinforcing growth, entropy takes over. Inflation, taxes, and lifestyle creep act like corrosion. Without intentional reinforcement, wealth erodes even if income stays the same. Compound interest rewards those who think long-term under short-term pressure. Engineers design systems that perform over decades, not weeks. Financially, this means resisting trends, noise, and emotional reactions. It means trusting structure over sensation. When people say compound interest is slow, what they really mean is that they don't respect system design. They focus on visible output instead of invisible structure. They want results without engineering discipline. But exponential growth only rewards those who understand how systems behave under time. The engineering approach to compound interest is not about being smart. It's about being systematic. You don't need perfect timing, insider knowledge, or extreme risk. You need a system that survives stress, minimizes friction, amplifies feedback, and runs automatically over time. Most people never experience real compounding because they treat money like a goal instead of a system. Engineers never make that mistake. And once you stop chasing growth and start designing for it, compound interest stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling inevitable. That's the part everyone misses.